mostly be talking about match weeks in the Prem, and then we're going to sprinkle in a couple of interesting challenges or other updates or news around the league. Today we got a bit of a special one. We're going to cover our top 4 predictions for the main 5 leagues. We already did the Prem. We did a full 20-team prediction there. If you want to listen to that, go to our first episode. It's on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple. But today we'll be covering Bundesliga, LaLiga, Serie A, and Ligue 1, which compile the top 4. And then that's pretty much it. We're only going to do top 4 for each one just because we don't want to make this a 5-hour episode because we could if we wanted to. But today we're joined with Clay, who you all know, and then our German expert to give us a little bit of Bundesliga knowledge, Ryan. Ryan, how you doing today?
Doing well. Excited to be here as always. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Ryan before, he's in our previous Match Week 3 episode of the Premier League. But I guess just to kick it off, we're going to cover Bundesliga 4. So how this go is each of us, I'll say my top 4, Clay will say his top 4, Ryan will say his top 4, and then based off of that, we're going to kind of debate a little bit, see who's right, see who's wrong, and then that way at the end of the year, we can come back and see who has the most footy knowledge. But to kick it off, for the Bundesliga, number 1, I got Bayern. I mean, that's kind of an easy one. Yeah. Not much to say there. And they just added Harry Kane, second best striker in the world. Maybe even the best striker this year. We'll see how Haaland does because I think Kane's a better overall player. But I think they might even compete for Champions League this year. You guys agree with that?
I agree with that, yeah. They're a top team in the Champions League, I think. They can make a final,
Cut
obviously.
in and jump in as much as you guys want.
Yeah.
That's a very fair shout. I think Bayern have the second best team in the world right now that they've added Kane.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I think you both have Bayern first, too?
Yeah. I think that's a given, yeah.
All right, obviously.
Yeah, Bayern.
Second place, I've got Dortmund. I mean, they almost won the league last year. I do understand that they've lost Bellingham, who is probably their best player.
Definitely their best player.
Definitely their best player, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were only one. They lost by goal differential last year, so
yeah, it was very, very close.
I don't think they've lost that much to really make it where they dropped to 3rd or 4th place.
Yeah.
Then I've got Leverkusen in 3rd. I know they haven't been up there as much as recently. I think they fell off a little bit last year. I think you had Leipzig in 3rd last year. I might be mistaken.
I believe, Leipzig might have.
Yeah, I think they weren't even top 4. Union Berlin was in 4th, and Leverkusen came in 5th or 6th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've added a couple good players. They added what's his name? Boniface.
Yeah, I have him in there.
Openda.
Yeah, Openda's Leipzig.
Yeah. I think Boniface is a good signing.
2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, and they didn't really lose much, and they added 70 mil worth of players.
Yeah, they lost Diaby, which is kind of a pretty big miss. But with all the players they got in, I mean, added Xhaka, Nathan Tella, who had a great year at Burnley last year, Grimaldo. I mean, all those coming in, I think make them very good. So go ahead with
I think they'll be good. And last, I've got Leipzig. I think they have lost a lot of players. That's why I downgraded them a spot. I mean, they lost Guardiola, and they also lost Szoboszlai, and they lost Nkunku.
They're 3 best players.
They're 3 best players, but they did sign Openda. They made a couple signings here or there, so I think they're good enough to stay in that top 4, just not good enough to crack the top 3.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I have Bayern first also. Adding Kim also I think is very good.
Oh yeah, I forgot to cover
Upamecano, Champions League had a shocker last year, so I think Kim will provide a little backup, him and De Ligt. Added Guerrero from Bayern. I mean, not Bayern, Dortmund.
Dortmund on a free too.
On a free. Yeah. Leimer from Leipzig. I don't know why they just add everybody who's like good on freeze. It's ridiculous.
Because everyone wants to go there.
I know.
It's just
all the big clubs have that privilege. It happens at Real. It's happened at City.
But yeah, so I think there's no chance that Bayern don't win the league. And like we said, challenging for Champions League. So that's kind of given. I have Dortmund second also. Added Sabitzer from going the other way from Bayern. I mean, he was on loan at United, but going from Bayern to Dortmund. Bayern Gittins is just going to get better. He's a very good winger.
Very good, yeah.
Daniel Mullen should be pretty good. And then they have Adeyemi, who I think is going to be very good
class.
too. And they have that wonder kid, what's his name? Mufuku? He's
the striker.
Yeah, he's very young.
And they still have Sebastian Haller too, and
So
they got a good squad.
I think Dortmund will be second. I have Leverkusen third. We already kind of talked about who they've added and who they've lost. And then I think you guys will have different. You already said you had a different one for fourth, but I have Union Berlin.
I mean,
I don't think that.
Don't act like that's a crazy take. They literally finished fourth last year.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think people.
Leverkusen being in third after being in like fifth or sixth last year is.
But Leverkusen, I mean, Xabi Alonso has been playing very well, and they added all these good players. So I think. But back to Union Berlin, I mean, added Robin Gosens. I think he's a very good player. Added Aronson on loan. Added Fofana from Chelsea, the David Fofana, their striker, on loan also. And they really lost no one. And I think they're just going to be...
Yeah, for me it was more of a... It's not that they lost anyone. It's more of a Leverkusen just got better. And Leverkusen is one of those teams that should be up there, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I still have Leverkusen in the same spot at third.
Yeah. I guess you could argue Leipzig, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I have Union Berlin.
So you don't have Leipzig in your top four.
No, I think
very interesting.
I mean, losing their top three players and only bringing in Openda and Xavi Simons. I think
that's
tough.
a pretty great replacement for those two players.
Honestly. And they brought in they did bring a center back in from, I believe it was the Premier League. I think it was Southampton. Was there one of those two teams? Pretty solid player. Pretty sure I have him in here. Baumgartner, or in the 6. He's pretty good.
Baumgartner?
Yeah, you can look him
Who's
up.
played in the
Trust me.
Bundesliga?
No, I can't remember where he played, but I watched his highlights. Guy looks class.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna think we don't really know footy at this point.
Okay, the one other
guys.
signing, Benjamin Sesko from RB Salzburg. He's another good signing. So, not a bad shout, but on to you, Ryan.
Yeah, so, I mean, completely agree with you guys. First place has to be Bayern München. I mean, I think, honestly, if they don't challenge for the Champions League and win the league, that's a failure. They should be trying to win the treble this year with their squad. I mean, they got the coach they wanted. They got the striker they wanted. They pretty much have the perfect team at this point. I think their midfield with Kimmich, Goretzka at the 6, arguably, you get Musiala or Müller at the 10. That's one of the best midfields in the world. I think every time they lose a game in the Bundesliga will be a massive failure for them. So,
just in case you guys didn't know, Ryan's our certified German too. So
yes,
if he gets it wrong, then we're all screwed.
Well, I mean, as most Germans who aren't from Munich, we would all love to see Bayern not finish first, but it's just unfortunate they have such a good team, and I just don't see that happening. So, but moving on to second, I have RB Leipzig.
Wow,
that's a crazy,
team that didn't even
shout.
make the fourth place spot for Clay. But I mean,
I don't know what you're on over there, but that's respect. I like it.
Okay.
I think
that
that
their three best players.
the Bundesliga and, to be fair, we'll get to it, Serie A are going to be some really great leagues this year. I think it's fair to claim that they won't make top 4. I think the spots from 2nd to 6th this year in the Bundesliga are probably going to be within a few points of each other, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be that tight. But yeah, I think Dani Olmo has been incredible in preseason. He's really found his form. They have Timo Werner on the bench. They beat Bayern in the preseason, and I mean, it looked like both teams had most of their big players playing in that game.
Bayern had a Harry Kane come off the bench, but
right.
That's fair. What do you have third?
Bayer Leverkusen. They've just been playing incredible football.
Agree on something there.
And
you have Dortmund fourth then.
I have Dortmund coming in 4th.
Wow, that's a crazy shout.
What's your reason behind that?
I think their team got slightly worse from last year, and I think the Bundesliga in general has gotten significantly stronger than it was last year. So,
It's a bold statement.
I feel like they've only lost one,
they only lost
one
Bellingham,
player.
Right, but
Well,
I
guess
think he
Guerrero,
was.
too.
Yeah, I guess
But-
Guerrero was.
But I think
Yeah.
the replacements they got for those guys aren't
Yeah, but
really
that's how
any
the Dortmund
better.
always operates.
It's
though.
true.
The
I
best
think
player
it's
always
true.
leaves, and they always bring someone who ends up
and then
being
they end up
maybe
finishing
even better.
Yeah.
second almost every single year.
Yeah, and have kind of challenged a couple times, never really haven't done it successfully in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, last year this closest they've gotten forever.
Yeah, they sold. They should have won that too. But
No, I think you guys are right. I mean, Dortmund are pretty much known for doing that every single season. So this is nothing new to them, but I've just been really excited with the way Leipzig and Leverkusen have been playing this preseason. And
yeah, I like it. That's good.
Those
All
those
right.
are my picks.
Moving
Okay.
on, let's jump over to the Serie A. I think that's arguably the second best league in here, or at least the most competitive. I think LaLiga is probably still better, but you could argue that.
I think you
That's
could
for
argue
another
all
day.
three. Honestly, I think you
That's
got to
another
throw
day,
in.
guys. That's good. We could go way too much. All right. I'll start off again. First place, I've got Napoli again. They won the league last year by a clear margin. They were dominant, and to be fair, they lost Kim. That's fair. But besides that, they haven't really lost many players. I know they lost their coach, but I think Rudy Garcia will be very good for them.
He's a
So-
decent coach.
And
yeah.
I think he's got a vision here. And from the first couple of games, they looked very good. They signed Raspadori too, who was a very good young player from Sassuolo, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're excited. I'm clinging on to the fact that Osimhen and I'm gonna butcher this, but
Kvaratskhelia, yeah.
Kvaratskhelia are going to be two of the three best players in the Serie A this year. I think Osimhen's going to score 20 plus, and he's going to come third best player after Kvaratskhelia, and I'll give you my second one in a little bit.
Okay. We'll wait for that.
All right, third I've got, second I've got Milan. I think they haven't really lost much. I think they've added some very good pieces for some very good prices. I think they've had one of the best transfer windows in terms of value for players.
I agree.
They brought in Yunus Musa, who I think will be a great player off the bench. They brought in, obviously, Pulisic, who's already proved to be very electric for them. And they still have Giroud, who's class for them. And
Rafael,
my second one is, I think Rafael Leao will come second place, if not best player in the Serie A this year. I think he's going to score 20 plus from the wing.
Wow.
So I think those two are banking on a couple of players being very big here, but very class. And then third, I've got Juventus. I think I want to put him higher. Last year, they would have probably finished in the 2-3 spot, depending if they hadn't gone.
Yeah, they
point
would have
deduction.
finished second. Yeah.
But getting that point deduction and not being in any European footy because they took that supposed ban has really hindered them on their signings. They have not signed anyone really that crazy. Like, let's be completely honest. Who have they brought in?
Timothy Weah.
Yeah,
Sure.
but I mean, Timothy Weah is solid, but let's be honest, that's nothing.
That's
I
why I
mean,
think Juventus are a little high.
Like,
I don't.
Pulisic is better than Timothy
you
Weah.
think at
You-
third they're
you-
high?
Yeah,
I
don't
agree.
know.
I don't have them in
Yeah.
my
I
top
have in
four.
third, and then in fourth, I have Inter. I had Lazio falling out of this because, to be honest, they haven't started great, and I think that was a bit of a fluke season for them. I don't think they're that good, to be completely honest. And I think they're going to get exposed in Champions League quite a bit. Lazio this year.
Lazio, I can see it.
Reason I got Inter in fourth, they've lost quite a bit of players. I know that made Champions League final had a good push. They lost Onana, replaced him with Summer. I think that's a downgrade in my opinion.
I don't think much of
I
a
don't think
downgrade.
too
Summers
much.
are
Maybe
good.
not keeper wise, but playing wise, feet wise, yes. Onana is one of the best playing keepers. They lost Skriniar on a free too.
Yeah.
That's a big loss. And then they lost Brozovic to the Saudi League.
Yeah.
I think
all
those are
big
some pretty big
losses.
losses. They got a couple of small signings here and there, and they also lost Lukaku.
Yeah, I think Martinez will really flourish without him.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
they did
Martinez-
actually have a decent partnership, but I think.
I think Martinez is one of those who I think is a good player, but I think Osimhen and Rafael.
Yeah.
significantly
I mean, Martinez already has 3 in like 2 games, I think, but
Yeah.
we'll see how he does.
Yeah.
All right, Clay, what do you got?
So I have AC Milan first. You mentioned, great business. Sold Tonali, funded Noah Okafor coming in, backup striker from Salzburg for Giroud, you said Musa, Rendiers from
Wait, you
Utrecht.
got Milan in first?
Yeah, I have Milan in
Wow,
first.
that's the American high living right there.
Yeah.
American dream, baby.
I mean, Pulisic, Giroud, Rafael Leao are going to do bits this season, I think. They have a good midfield of, even when Benacer comes back, Benacer, Rendiers, maybe Ruben Loftus-Cheek or Musa, I think they have a very good team, honestly, and they're just playing very well. I think they could finish first. I have Inter second. I mean, yeah, you mentioned the summer. I don't think it's a huge downgrade, to be honest.
I
agree.
I mean, they brought in Arnautovic, which was a pretty interesting signing.
I don't think that's very significant
Pavard.
at this point. Pavard's a
Pavard,
good signing, but yeah, he just came in.
and
That's fair.
Thuram,
Yeah.
or Thuram, I think they did a decent bit of business. I mean, Skriniar, I think is a big loss. He was good. They're gonna be playing a back three like they always do, so I think it's gonna be, I guess, Bastoni, Pavard, and I don't know.
Pavard in a back three is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
He'll
so I don't
probably
know
play
about
the right
that.
of the back three, Bastoni, and then
Yeah.
Van Verge or what's his
De
name?
Vrij?
De Vrij,
Yeah,
I mean,
De Vrij,
yeah,
yeah.
De Vrij.
Okay, yeah, that's not a bad
It's
back
a really
three,
it's
but
a really solid back three.
All right, who do you have? Who do you have three then?
I have Napoli. Yeah.
Wow. Really,
I've-
from winning over 20 point.
I generally
He's a
think
third.
Kim was one of their best players. He really went under the radar.
Yeah, but I don't.
And I
To be
think
fair, they kind of came out of nothing, and they did sign a couple of young center backs, one from the French league and one from the Bundesliga for like £5 to £7 million. So
we'll see. I mean, Juan Jesus and Rahimi, are their two starters right now. We'll
Yeah.
see. But I just don't think they'll repeat.
do you
I
think
could be
just
completely.
losing Kim gives them an immediate?
And I think
Three-spot
losing
downgrade?
your coach to Rudy Garcia is a big downgrade too.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I just don't
Who do you
think
got
made
fourth?
many signings. Fourth, I have Roma. I think they did unreal business. They brought in Awar from Lyon,
Yeah.
Renato Sanchez.
Auror's kind of.
Awar?
Yeah, Aurora and Renato Sanchez are kind of washed. They've been.
I still think they're good players.
they've been
They're
that
good
like
players.
maybe they were a wonder kid, but now they're
I mean,
average.
brought in Ndika, Frankfurt
Yeah, I think
center
it's a good
back.
signing, yeah,
Frankfurt center back. Lukaku.
I think
I don't
Lukaku's
know.
terrible, but okay.
And then you still have Tammy Abraham. I think Roma do really well. They lost their starting center back Ibanez to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
He was very good, I thought, and he
very
was
good,
young. But I have Roma fourth. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Roma look really dangerous. That's where I have them as well, actually. But starting at first, I have Inter Milan.
We all have a different
Down at fourth for you, creeping into second place for Clay. It's been theirs to win for the past few years now. I think they've probably been the favorited team in Italy for maybe 2 or 3 years. Almost won the Campos last year. They lost a few players, but I think the players they brought in, Pavard's going to be great there. Thuram, incredible player in the Bundesliga. I think they're really strong. I think they're going to flourish. I think losing Lukaku is not a big deal at all. I think the partnership between Lautaro and Thuram's going to be really good, actually, something to watch.
Yeah, fair.
And I think they'll sneak into first. At second, AC Milan. They've probably had the best mercato. If you look at it, they brought in Pulisic, Musa.
No, that's fair. I
You
have
name
them second too.
Yeah,
So.
we all agree
I
on
agree.
that one,
Yeah,
right?
I agree
I
on
think
Milan.
that's
Yeah.
I think
that's the only
I
one.
do see a range of outcomes where we're just on the American high and they end up being like fourth. Easily. I
But
see that.
even like the players that aren't American, they're pretty good. They brought
Right.
in.
Yeah,
like-
but we're all riding on Pulisic's back.
he's been very good,
He
and
has
if he
been.
can stay healthy, that might be the
All right.
best front three in the Serie A.
Yeah,
Ryan,
I
who
agree.
you got a three.
Falling to third place, Napoli. They had an incredible year last year, but you saw it in the Champions League. They struggled a little bit when it came to big games. I think that they might have had their Leicester season where then they drop off.
I don't
Obviously,
know, they had one
Napoli.
of the best seasons ever in the Serie A and won by 20 plus points.
It's true, but I think that was more to the detriment a lot of the other teams. I'm not sure, but
I'll
I
say
can't
that-
see them doing that again. That was such an incredible season. Like, how are they going to
Yeah.
pull off that many points again? I can't see it happening.
Well, even if they pull off 15 points less, they still would have won. You know, like
I think
don't know.
the other
That's fine.
teams are going to be better this year, though.
I guess we
in the
just
Serie A.
have to wait and see. The only other team which I agree that did get significantly better is Milan. I don't think Inter really got that much better.
Also, Ibra said it before. Once you win the Scudetto the next year, you've got a target on your back. Every team that plays against you, they want to beat you because you're the reigning champions.
That's just
Napoli.
saying his ridiculous stuff. That happens in every single league.
Exactly.
It doesn't
That's
mean Scudetto, probably.
that's the point.
Right.
But
Fine,
it's
Napoli
it's
third.
it's
Who do you
more
got fourth?
it's more intense in Italy.
All right, who do you got fourth?
I got Roma creeping in.
Wow,
I
both of
think
you leaving Juventus off.
I think the goat Lukaku is going to turn up for them.
No, Lukaku is so bad.
Yes,
bro.
but he always does this. He goes to a new team and he
He's not
shines
gonna
there
start,
and he
bro.
makes everybody question.
He's
Wait,
gonna
is
play
Lukaku
maybe
good?
15 to 20 minutes a game, maybe.
Watch him
No.
turn up. Watch him turn up.
Okay, whatever.
He likes to play well at the beginning of the
Alright,
season.
yeah,
That's
and,
fair.
I mean, they
obviously, I'm
still-
assuming
they
you're
still have
reaching
Dybala.
seventh place, so.
They still have Dybala.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, Mourinho, he's a coach that knows how to win.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, didn't win last year. Not even close, but.
Right, but yeah.
Bolstered his squad quite a bit.
They were
Renato
down
Sanj.
they were down in 6th last year, weren't they?
Yeah, but finally Europa League.
Yeah, woo.
I mean, for
It's
Roma
crazy.
standards,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We're talking Roma standards. The top 4 would be crazy, low key, for them at this point.
I mean that used to be their standard, though.
Yeah.
If you look back,
Like,
Todd,
I
years
think
ago.
that they're
Totti.
trying to bring it back.
Yeah,
That's
maybe 6 years ago, but
hiring Mourinho. That's part of their push of trying to get them back to the
I don't
top.
know. Last year when they went head to head against the 4 teams I had, they pretty much lost every single game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think
I guess
that
we'll just
last
have to wait
year
and see.
they struggled, but I think with now Lukaku, Renato Sanj, a couple
Yeah.
other signings,
Yeah.
they're going to be a great team.
That's fair. All right, briefly recap that. I got Napoli in first. You both have them in third. Then you have Milan winning.
Yep.
We both have them in second.
Yeah.
Then you have Inter Milan winning. I have them fourth. Clay has them in second. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jumping over to, I want to do let's do the La Liga next.
Okay.
Let's
Sounds
leave
good.
the worst one for last.
Yeah.
Okay.
First place, I've got Barca. I mean, I'm a Barca fan, obviously. They won the league last year. I think they've only gotten better. Actually, no, I think they have gotten better. I think they arguably have the best signing of the summer in terms of quality and money. I mean, getting Gundogan, who was probably a top 3 to 4 midfielder in the Prem last year on a free,
It's good business.
is great business.
It's good business,
And
yeah.
I think he'll mix in very well with that squad.
Yeah.
They seem to have honestly found a gem in Yamal. He looks electric. I know it's only been 2-3 games, but he looks really, really good.
No, he looks poised to be a very
And he
good
literally
player.
turned 16 this summer, which
Yeah.
is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Not much more to say. I love Barca. They're good. They're going to be dangerous this year. I think that they'll be dangerous in the Champions League, very dependent on how well Lewandowski can play and how healthy Pedri can stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second place, I got Madrid. Solid as always. I think it'll be a very close league this year. I think Madrid adding Bellingham is massive. He's very quality, very good as we've seen.
Yeah.
But again, they still don't have a striker.
Yeah.
And that's just going to be their biggest issue this year. I think they're not necessarily going to struggle to find goals in LaLiga, but in those big games, those grimy games, I think they will. Because you don't have Benzema to just pull one out of a hat
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. Third, I've got Atletico. I think Atletico are solid as always. Good team, not great. Always like that. They've made some good signings. The whole João Felix thing stuns me because I think he's a quality player. I think if he ends up going to Barca, he's going to be very, very good. But
We'll
he's just,
see,
I don't
yeah.
think he'll play. Well, he'll suit that play very well.
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
will be perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, if Barca get him and they can play him at left wing,
Yeah,
they'll be
perfect.
challenging for Champions League with that team, in my
I agree.
opinion.
I think João Felix, a quality player, we're all forgetting how good he actually is.
I mean, at
He's just
Chelsea
been-
last year,
yeah,
he
but
was.
that's again a system that doesn't play.
I don't know. I've seen him in a lot of
And
systems
that
that
Chelsea team
don't
was a
work
dumpster
for him.
fire.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't know.
besides that,
We'll
I
see.
think they're still a solid team. They brought in a couple good signings. They got that center back from Leipzig. What's his name again?
Atletico did.
Yeah,
Uh,
or not Leipzig. Leicester.
Leicester.
yeah. Soyuncu.
Yeah, he's good. I think they'll be solid.
Yeah.
They have a solid team. Haven't really lost many people. And again, it's Simeone. He always figures a way to get some grinding wins. They won 7-0 this week, so that was pretty impressive. And lastly, fourth, not very crazy, Real Sociedad. So I'm guessing it's going to go the same exact way this year. Sociedad have done some good business. They brought Tierney on loan. I think that's a pretty good signing.
Good signing, yeah.
Yeah. And who else did they bring in?
One
more signing.
Sorloth, I think. Striker.
Yeah. Oh, and they also brought Andres Silva.
Andres
as
Silva,
who
yeah,
I think can add some goals, and that's probably their biggest issue is just scoring in general last year. But I think they'll be a solid team.
Yeah, I thought Sorloth was decent for them.
Yeah, I
last
think
year,
so
but
too. But now you have more and more options.
Fair
You
enough.
know, and
Fair
I think Kubo will have a good year again. So that's my top four.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy shout. I'm definitely gonna be biased. I have Real first.
Of course you do.
Joselu, not a great striker, but I mean, it's a striker to have. I mean, came in the other game. I mean, made a bit of a difference.
That's like me saying Brightwith is not a great striker, but a striker.
I don't know. I think
This is
Joselu-
finally going to end the debate when everyone says, "Oh, well, my Nan could score on that team." We're going to see how many goals can a striker like this score on
Joselu,
an
yeah.
incredible team.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
we'll
agree.
see. Yeah, I mean, I think he's all right. I mean,
He's
I
okay.
mean, he scored a bicycle in like preseason. I mean, he's
Any professional player can do that.
okay. We'll see.
They did have to
But I
wheel him
still
off
think-
the pitch after that.
Yeah, I still think that they'll. I mean, Bellingham scoring goals, assisting. I think that honestly might be like signing it this summer. I mean, obviously it's a
Yeah.
huge price tag, but
Yeah,
like
of course.
he's unreal.
He is very good,
Without a striker, it's going to be hard. And then Vinicius out 4 weeks. You have Rodrigo kind of leading, which is not great.
Yeah.
And I mean, you brought Raheem Diaz back from loan. He's an all right player.
He's all right, yeah.
Militao out the whole season. I think Real will get it done. It's going to be grimy, I think, but like some 1-0, kind of like Barca did last year. A lot of 1-0s, you know.
Yeah, but Barca weren't missing their starting center back last year.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like
And their
Alaba,
starting keeper.
Rudiger, and then I mean you have Kepa in goal. He's not a great keeper, but I mean he's
He's
he'll
no
do
Courtois,
the-
I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Real are going to be great.
Who do you
But
have in second?
I have Barca in second. I mean, you can't.
Of course.
Anybody can see that it's going to be one of these two, no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just it. And Barca, I mean, yeah, Gundogan, very good bit of business. I mean, Barca are just always good.
What about three?
Lamine Yamal is going to be very good. And then 3, I have Atletico Madrid. I
Nice.
mean, I think
all
the
gonna
top
play in
3 is
having
going to
those
be
top three.
Right.
Yeah.
pretty much the same. Atletico Madrid, yeah, didn't really make many signings. I mean, Aspilicueta, you said Soyuncu.
Yeah.
They're just going to
Solid
play a
sign. I mean, good, but
yeah,
not great.
yeah, they're going to play a 5-back. They're going to win games.
Yeah, they're going to
gonna
win 1-0, 2-0,
yeah,
occasional
yeah,
10-0.
yeah. Then they're going to lose to Real and Barca most likely.
Yeah, and then they're going to lose random games against like Elche or something.
Yeah, so I think third for them's fair, and then I have Real Betis.
Betis fourth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I think Isco's been insane for them so
He
far.
actually has been.
He's kind of
I'll give you that.
revitalizing
He
his
looks
career, and he's
I
won
wouldn't go
man of
that
the
far. It's
match.
been 3 games, but
I mean, he's won man of the match like every game.
Yeah.
I think he's been very good. I think that, I mean, Iosi Perez is all right. I think they have some good players in the squad that are just good enough to get you into fourth. Like you got Bellerin. I don't know. I think they have the quality. William Jose up top. I think you have just the quality to get you into fourth. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, the 4th place spot is such a tough one in La Liga. I mean, I
It
was
really
thinking
is.
about this one
it
for
like
a while.
swaps every single year.
It does, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're extremely far behind third, and
Yeah.
third is quite far behind first and second. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how La Liga tends to go usually, and I mean, I'm not really impressed with any of these teams that sometimes make a push. Sevilla, they don't
Unless
look
it's
great
Sevilla
this
in the
year.
Europa League.
Right. I'm not sure how they make that happen. I mean,
Every single year.
they've lost every game this season so far in LaLiga. They look terrible.
They look so bad.
But get them in a Europa League game and they'll
And they
bang
will
some
be there.
goals. Yep.
After they place third in their group and
That'd go down, and
they're
then
gonna win again back into the Champos.
Unbelievable. They wouldn't have made
They would have made
anything. Yeah.
if they hadn't have won.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They're
that,
Europa
like,
League merchants.
Is that
I mean,
one of the
that's-
first times that's maybe
No,
ever
I think
happened?
you had
or?
didn't you have Man United when they won the Europa League place? I
Yeah.
think they were in like 7th
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
when they
and
had
got
Pogba and all
That
that,
would be
yeah,
a United
yeah.
thing to do. That makes
It would, of
sense.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair shout. I have Barcelona in first. I think their team looks really strong. They just brought Cancelo in.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I forgot about that. On loan,
I
too.
think,
Great signing.
yeah, I think really besides left center back, they have one of the best teams in the world right now. I mean, Gundogan and Frankie de Jong in the midfield.
And Pedri, that's a
Pedri,
class midfield.
Gavi's probably going to
Romero's
be...
looked quite good too, honestly.
Yeah.
I was kind of stunned when they signed him. I had no idea. Who,
I think he'll
He's
be a great
alright.
rotation player for
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they need
that's what I mean.
people in La
Like, I think
Liga
he'll be
and
good.
Cup games, Copa del Rey. I think Barca are going to be back this year.
I do think losing Ousmane Dembele is a big hit to Barca. Because say what you want, but he's an electric player.
Yeah.
He
It's
really
true.
is. He just played. He was out essentially the same amount of games he played. So
It is true.
at
I
the
am
end
a
of the
little
day,
bit
when is it
worried.
valuable to have a player like that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried that they did get rid of him and Fati now. Their depth
Yeah, I
on
was
the
surprised
wings
they did that.
is
I
lacking.
mean, they still have Ferran Torres.
Right, but not
They
my
still
favorite
have
player.
Rafinha.
Torres has been doing well. They have
And
Rafinha still.
I really don't
They have
like either of those
Yamal.
players.
That Gabi plays on the left.
Yes. I think Yamal and Gavi should start on the
They
wings,
will.
honestly, yeah.
I think
But
that's what.
I
will
think
happen.
that's strong. Even though they're young, I think that can win them La Liga.
And if they end up signing Felix on loan,
Yeah.
that'll be a big one. Yeah.
Huh?
Real, second place. Obviously, like you said, it's going to be one of those two teams. So, going to have to put them in second. No surprise, Atletico in third. All agree on that. And then I have Girona.
Girona.
That's a
fourth.
crazy
Sneaking into
shout.
You just saw the table, the current table right now. So
Yeah,
Girona
yeah,
for
I've
sure,
read
like,
about
I'm
it.
I
sliding.
absolutely did. I think they're going to go on a run this season.
I swear you always have a weird La Liga team in the first 10 match weeks who's always up there and then just
Yeah.
plummets.
Yeah.
That happens. I mean, that happens in a lot of leagues. That
Yeah,
happens,
but I feel
that
that's
happens
a
to
Liga
Frankfurt almost every season in the
Yeah, that's true.
Bundesliga.
Yeah.
As a Frankfurt fan, that's really disappointing to see. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like I said, I was so disappointed with all the performances from these teams that we usually see sneaking, creeping into fourth. I mean, Villarreal got rid of every single one of their good players. I'm not sure. Girona looks like they're hot. They got Stuani up top. I think he might go for another 20-plus goal season and lead them into a Champions League for
spot.
fourth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Playoff
think
to Champions League.
Stuani's low-key underrated. That's a fair shout.
Yeah.
Um,
Alright. I like that. I mean, all of us have the same top three, pretty standard. Clay has Madrid winning. We have Barca winning.
and then just that fourth spot.
And then
Yeah.
that just fourth spot is kind of
Up
it's
in the
suspect,
air.
but
Up in
I
the
think
air.
that's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I agree.
All right, jumping into our last little segment of the day, and the worst league in Europe.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Well, yeah, no, not.
I
the
mean,
worst in
worst
all of Europe.
top five.
Worst top five
So,
leagues.
yeah.
Yeah, and might even fall out of the top five at some point.
I think
If you
that
lose Mbappe next year, I could see that.
maybe. I still think it's a bit. I
Saudi
still think
League
it's
top
top
five?
five. No.
All right, starting off, I think everyone's gonna say this. PSG, not much more to say. They win it every single year.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's a fluke, and I don't see it changing. I arguably think they're gonna have a better time in the league this year. Less Neymar being out, less Messi being out. I think there's gonna be an overall bigger chemistry. They've brought in some good signings, so I think are gonna be great in the League One. So that's all I want to cover. I don't think they're gonna compete for Champions League, to be honest. If they do, it could be like a Inter type thing from last year where they get a somewhat easier route, and you just see Mbappe go off.
Yeah.
But besides that, and they're gonna lose Marco Verratti too. So I mean, it's tough. They got Skriniar. They got some good signings, to be fair, but I just don't see them really being better than they were last year in those big games.
That's fair. Yeah, losing Messi and Neymar is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want in the day-to-day because they probably weren't trying very much, but in a big game, like, those are two players that change games. They obviously didn't work, but I think the reason it didn't work was because they lost to Madrid or City every single time, and those are...
Yeah, just not a lot of working back, and it wasn't working for the PSG team.
Second place, a bit of a little cheeky one. I got Marseille in second. I mean, last year I think they had a pretty good run last year. They placed third, I believe. They also signed Zakaria, striking that midfield. I think he can be very good. Sorry, not.
Yeah.
No,
I think Zakaria signed for Monaco.
Yeah. Sorry, they signed. I was confusing there. They did sign like 5 or 6 players, all kind of in that 10 to 30 mil range, which I think is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Again, they were very good last year. Didn't lose many players, so I think they'll be. And they did add Aubameyang. He's looked pretty good, honestly, since he's gone. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Third place, I got Monaco. Last place weren't even top 4. Last year weren't top 4. I think they're going to be great this year. They made some good signings. I think Zakaria, like I was saying, he'll be very good. They lost Disasi.
Yeah.
But they did sign a center back from Southampton.
Salisu, yeah.
Yeah, who I think he'll be good enough to replace Disasi. I don't think Disasi is anything crazy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Balogun, I mean, that's just adding 20 goals. He could go off and score 20 goals again this year.
Yeah.
He did it last year with Lille. I think he can do it again.
With Reims, yeah.
Reims,
yeah. And, no, I mean...
See, I'm not a big League One guy.
Yeah, but I mean, Ben Yedder and Balogun today, they're just going to score a lot.
Yeah, I think so. And then fourth place, I got Lens. They came second last year. They're 1 point. They're actually only 1 point off of...
No, they had a very good year.
They had a very good year. I think it's one of those type of years that you come in, they had a great year, but it's going to be hard to sustain with the team they have. I mean, they did a lot. They did lose their best player, Penda, to Leipzig too, so I think that's a big blow. I still see them being top 4. I want to shout out Lille because I love Lille, but that's pretty much it.
But yeah, I mean, they lost Fofana, one of their top midfielders too, to Saudi Arabia.
They
but
lost
I mean,
a good amount of players. But
yeah, they
I
got
think they'll be good enough.
They got Wahi from Montpellier. He's pretty good.
He's okay.
A lot of teams were in for him. I know Arsenal.
I mean, I think for me, it's more of they lost a couple of their best players, and then Monaco and Marseille added more players to their already pretty built squad.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Very fair. I mean, I don't even have Lens making top 4.
That's
fair.
In my league.
Right,
so.
But yeah, I have PSG.
Shock.
They actually made a lot of signing. I mean,
they really did. I didn't even want to go over all of them because they made like 10 signings.
Ugarte, I think a pretty good signing. He was very good for Sporting last year.
Yeah, he was very good. Dembele.
Dembele, Hernandez, Skriniar, Gonzalo Ramos, and possibly Kolomuani.
I think will be very good.
Kolomuani coming in. A front three of Mbappe, Kolomuani, and Dembele.
It was actually disgusting.
That could be unreal.
But then at that point, why'd you go out and sign? Like, you don't...
And all those players are from
Gonzalo Ramos too, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and all those players are from their academy. It's just why didn't you hold on?
Right,
like
that's so funny.
So
it's a PSG thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think really good signings despite losing like two of your best players, Neymar and Messi. I mean, obviously,
and Verratti.
Yeah, Verratti is a big miss.
Yeah.
Veteran. I mean, midfielder has been very good for them.
I mean, my biggest thing with that team is just like they're kind of reinventing the wheel every single year.
Yeah.
Now they brought in it seems like a better core, solid, like younger squad now.
Yeah.
So I think once Mbappe leaves and they can build a basis off this squad, then I think they could compete. But the problem with that is then if all these players hit, they're all going to starting to want to leave to the Prem or to Madrid.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
kind
fair.
of that everlasting circle in the French league.
Yeah, I think they need to get themselves a Champions League win, and then they'll be able to keep some of these players the way that Bayern were able to keep players in arguably what's people also call a Farmers League sometimes. I mean, they had Robin, Ribéry, all these great players playing there in their primes.
Yeah.
So I think they get a Champions League win, they can keep those players.
I think the difference, though, is with the Italian league, the French league, and even La Liga, you've had spells where they run European football. You've never really had a spell where the French league runs European football.
That's true.
Like,
That's
no.
very true.
I still
Maybe PSG up top being dangerous, but besides that, not really. Besides that one little run that Monaco had, but it wasn't even crazy.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair point.
I still think PSG have a good team. I mean, they have a team.
Yeah, no, it's a good team. They're going to win easily.
Emery, I mean, yeah, they'll win, and I honestly think they can push, not for a Champions League final, but maybe make the quarters.
Yeah.
Possibly
They'll make it out of their
semis.
group for sure, but if they run into a City or even like I was going to say Liverpool, but they're not even in it. A City or an Arsenal or a Barca or a Madrid or a Bayern, I think they'll get smacked.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Right,
moving on to my second. I have Monaco. Like, I mean, we were discussing Ben Yedder, Balogun. I think they're going to do very well. I mean, Balogun scored 21 goals in the league last year, and a worse team, I would argue.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I mean, yeah, you made the point of Salisu coming in, Zakaria coming in. You already have Minamino. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, no, that's a good squad. I just put him third because last year they were a bit of a dumpster fire compared to what they usually are.
That's fair.
It's a pretty good squad.
That's all I really have for them. Moving on to, I have Lyon third. Might be kind of a crazy shout, but I mean, Lacazette scored 26 goals last year. I mean, who knows what he does this year again? But he's up there in age, and I don't think he'll recreate that. But I still think Lyon are a good team. I mean, they lost Malo Gusto and Awar, which are, I mean, Malo Gusto is definitely a big miss.
Very good. Yeah.
But I still think they can do well, and I mean, they're usually one of those teams that's in the top 4 for Liga.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
I think they'll finish third. And then I have Marseille for fourth. I've signed Ismail Sarr from Watford. I mean, he was good in the Prem when he played, and then I think they went down. Aubameyang, obviously. Kondogbia, I feel like it's a decent signing. Lodi, Ndiaye from Sheffield United, the striker. He's like, I think they brought him in for.
I mean, last year they were only 5 points.
I almost wish I'd put him over Lyon and put him in third, but I mean, too late now. And I think that's a fair. They lost Payet. Payet went to like this random Brazilian team. Yeah, and it's like I don't
really know what's going on.
Yeah. So
I mean, last year they were only 5 points off of PSG.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, I was surprised that Lacazette like bagged that many goals, but I mean, you can kind of see how this league is if you can let Lacazette score like 20 plus.
Who's your fourth? Oh, sorry, Marseille's your fourth.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So on to you.
Ryan.
Yeah, agree with you boys. PSG is going to be first. They built a great team, and I think they're going to be better for it. Maybe not this year without Messi challenging for Champions League, but I think if they can actually build a squad that isn't reliant upon these big stars with huge egos, it's going to be better for them in the long run. Coming in second, I have Monaco. Expecting big things from that Balogun, Ben Yedder combo up top. Look like a sick team. Coming in third, I have Marseille. You guys already said a lot of great things about them, and they got the GOAT, Pierre-Emerick, up top. And I think he's going to find his form again. I think he might still be quick in France.
Yeah, quick enough.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think.
I mean, if Lacazette, Lacazette was at the end of his career in the Prem. Goes to Liga, scores 26. I mean, I think Abba can do it.
I think he can. I'll be rooting for him, the Arsenal legend.
Yeah.
And then fourth, I got Reims.
That's respect.
I think
like Reims or what?
I think Will still. He's been playing manager mode all summer. He locked himself in his room, and he's gonna come out with some crazy tactics nobody's ever seen before and sneak himself into fourth place. But we'll see.
I respect that very highly.
What about losing a guy who scored 21 goals for you last year?
Nobody's gonna expect it, but Will still. He has something up his sleeve.
He has something up his sleeve.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, but it's something.
Okay, we'll see. That's an interesting shout. That they'll get better after losing a 21 goal score.
I think
respect. Crazy
Ligue
shout.
1 and Bundesliga easiest to predict. I think we all have the same person.
Yeah.
Serie A, I think
is the hardest. Yeah, that's
the hardest.
Yeah, true.
Besides, actually no, not even the Prem.
I think LaLiga was the easiest. Bundesliga was tough. We had a lot.
But
we
all
the winner though.
Yeah, we all
of course,
agree.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel like Serie A we had the most mix.
Yeah. All right, if you're gonna pick one team outside the Prem to win the Champions League, who would it be? Quick fire.
Bayern.
Yeah, it's got to be Bayern.
Yeah, Barca. No,
Barca?
Bayern.
I mean, I think
quite
that's-
there yet, but I think they will be in 2 years. Or sorry, next year.
Yeah.
Not in 2 years. All right, I think that pretty much covers it. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll add in one of these little special footy challenges / random episodes once in a while. If you want to listen to our Premier League content, please go back, listen in. Our Premier League predictions have been up for a while. They're already panning out great. Especially that Wolves take. And now my Wolves take, now that they've lost Nunes too.
Yeah.
They're going to suck.
Yeah.
But make sure to listen. Thanks for listening. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on all your podcasting locations. Thank you guys.